right? So what did we learn in the past classes? First theory was classical evolutionism. Then we learned diffusionism. Then we learned historical. What these people have said, they said that being influenced by the biological theories, that is Darwin theory, which spoke about evolution, right? Darwin's theory spoke about evolution of biological beings. So, getting inspired from them, these people said that just like biology is evolved over a period of time, culture and society also evolves. And taking a cue from that, these people explained by looking at the historical evidences. Like somebody traveled, they wrote the travelogues. There are some books. From those books, what they have done, they have compared the present societies and the earlier societies, and they try to give an evolution pattern. So these people said that evolution happens in three stages: savagery, barbarism, civilization. So this is what they have said. Here, did they do any field work? Did they go to the field? No, they didn't go to the field. They just read somebody's books and they gave the information. So they are saying that culture is evolving, society is evolving in this way. Everywhere it is evolving in the same way. Why did they say that everywhere it is evolving in the same way? And because they are thinking that everywhere people are thinking in the same way. So if your thought process is same across the world, so then evolution will be same, right? That is called a psychic unity of mankind. Now, from where did they get the evidence of psychic unity of mankind? So, finding of cultural parallels. There is one society, there is other society. In the two societies, you notice the same thing. So, if there is same thing in two different societies, that means people in different societies are thinking in same way. So, from there, they have come to a conclusion that people are thinking in same way. So, there is an assumption with respect to them that there is psychic unity of mankind and everywhere it goes in the same way. And then we have seen contributions of different scholars. So we have seen E.B. Tyler, who gave the definition of culture. We have seen his religion point of view, how he explained that initially there was a belief of dream and death. Okay, so dream and death concept, he related it to the soul. Earlier, people did not know that why the dreams disappear when they wake up, and how can a alive person become dead within seconds. So from there, they thought that there is something known as soul which leaves the body, and from there they started worshipping that soul because the ancestors used to come into their dreams. So they used to believe that the soul did not go away, it was staying somewhere nearby in the trees and animals. They used to worship it. So worship of soul, soul is nothing but anima, it is also called as anima. So worship of soul is known as animism. So from there it went on to polytheism. That means you don't have one ancestor, you have multiple souls. And then so when you are multiplying multiple souls, that becomes polytheism. And slowly that polytheism will become monotheism, where one, see, as the society gets developed, there is stratification, and one god is going to be at the highest of the hierarchy. So now that god is considered to be subsuming all other gods, so one soul becomes the top and then monotheism comes up. Okay, initially you are worshipping everyone. Now one dominates and there comes the monotheism. So that's how it develops. And then Morgan has talked about it. So we have seen Morgan's relationship of all the social institutions, how the political organization developed, how the kinship developed, how the marriage developed, how the technology developed and how they are related to one another, right? Then we have seen James Fraser. James Fraser, okay, James Fraser has explained the evolution of religion. So if you look at James Fraser religion, he says that initially there is magic. So earlier societies, they thought they can control the nature previously. So when they thought they can control the nature, they were doing magic spells, right? So they used to use two laws to do this magic. Okay, that is, first one is law of similarity, then law of contact. Law of similarity means mimicking the things. That means suppose you take a doll, you pierce a needle, then that means the person also feels it. This is law of similarity. What is law of contact? Once in contact, always in contact. Suppose we have our body hair. So people generally, they collect the body hair, tend to perform some ritual spells on it and try to create harm. That is the reason in the modern culture also you notice people are afraid to leave their belongings somewhere randomly because they believe that it might cause harm to them, believing that there is law of contact of magic. Initially they said they thought that they can control the nature and the natural laws, but their magic started failing. So when they noticed that they could not get the results by practicing this, then slowly they moved towards religion. That means subduing yourself to the supernatural. So they assume that supernatural cannot be controlled. So now you subdue and you start worshipping. You started worshipping the supernatural, there comes religion. Then when people started becoming knowledgeable, when they understood the phenomena behind the things, then they started taking up science. This is what James Fraser has said, that initially it was magic, then religion, then science. This is how society will evolve. So here you have magic, here you have religion, here you have science. But is that true? No. Because today we have magic, religion, and science, all of them together. So this is evolutionism. Then coming to diffusionism, what they said is that we accept evolution. Okay, what you are saying is right, evolution is happening, but your ideology that people everywhere are able to think in same way and they'll develop in same way, we do not accept, because these people say that people are more towards imitating rather than inventing. Everywhere people don't invent, people are more comfortable with imitating. So there they say that at one place invention will happen and that will spread. So that there comes the concept of diffusion. So here diffusionism they explained differently in different schools. The first school, British school, they said that Egypt is the center of evolution or creation of things, and from there it spread to other parts of the world. And what is the role of anthropologist is to find out the path of the evolution, path of the diffusion. So in Egypt it is developed and now it went to other places. How it went to other places? Because there was trade networks and traveling that was happening. So that led to the diffusion. And next, there are two other schools, culture crease school. Culture crease means culture circle. Now, some development happened here and it spreads like ripples in the water. And ripples will end somewhere. So that means the spread also will end somewhere. Okay, so now they are trying to construct the culture circle using two criteria. First they will see criteria of form. Suppose I developed a pen here and it was spreading and it went to some society or some culture which is far away. So now there you notice the pen there, you cannot explain what is the source of the pen. They cannot tell it what is the source of the pen, why the pen is present, what is the use of it. So when you can't attribute any reasons for its presence there, then the reason left out is diffusion. That is the reason it went there. Because of diffusion, it might have went. That is criteria of form. Then criteria of quantity. So more the number of similarities, more is the chance of diffusion. Okay. So if you notice a pen over there, and if you see both the pens, if there are more similarities between them, the shape or the color or the style of making or the material of making, if you have more similarities, that means there is higher chance of diffusion. So using this, you will find out till where it has spread and you will draw the culture circle. Okay. So that is the culture circle school. And then you have American school, which is also known as culture area, age areas. What is culture area? First, you look at where all the similarities are there. Okay, you look at similarities present across, and you'll map that area. That is known as culture area. So area can be of any shape. Why only circle? Why did I draw it in circular format? Because there is one of the scholar who said that this similarity spread in a concentric circles. Okay, there is one circle, it will move to the other circle, but the center will be same. So they'll spread in concentric circles. So you take anything, maybe you take one food item. So corn, if corn is grown in certain areas, you map all those areas and they'll fall under the culture area. You take another thing, you'll map the another culture area. So this is how you do. And if the area is small, that means the trade started spreading very recently. If the area is large, that means trades started spreading long back. That's why it spread to the large area. And there is an origin, there is a center where it originated. That is known as culture center. Okay. So these are the things that we have learned there. But again, these are only theories. Theories itself means what they are thinking. It does not mean that it's true. Now, you took one product, you drew the area. Now, if you see, there is other product here. Not only corn, you'll have rice, wheat, others also being cultivated, right? So now, how do you map in which culture area you'll put the area that is belonging to these all crops? If it is only one crop, you put it under the particular area. But if you notice 3, 4, then where are you going to put it? You did not answer this question. And this has been done with respect to North America, right? So worldwide, can you apply this? This is also questionable. So one more thing, migration is a continuous process, it is not static. So today you might have drawn the map, tomorrow next beside field might have come up with that crop, right? So by the time you draw the map, another person beside to it might have come up with a crop. It's a dynamic thing, it is not static. So these are all the limitations to this explanation. Then comes up the historical particularism. See, this is very simple. Try to understand the flow of the class so that you can easily write the answers in the exam. What does he say? He first of all says that, okay, initially he was mathematician, geography, he was part of geography and law. So he was not believing that culture determines everything. He used to think that it is geography. So a person living in a particular geography. So you are living in a particular geography. That geography is going to influence your way of living. This is what the belief he had in the beginning. Since he was from geography background, he thought geography might be the reason that people are practicing so and so economic activities or cultural activities. But when he went to Baffin Island, there it was completely glacial environment. You notice, right? It was snow, complete snow. So there it was same geography, but he noticed different cultures. From there, he understood that it was not geography that was determining, but it is culture that is determining your way of practice. Okay, so every culture is different. So it is not geography. He gave up the geographical determinism concept and then he moved to the understanding of historical particularism. What he said that you go to particular community, okay, be it tribe or any indigenous community or any other community, first go and interact with them, get to know their language, get to know about them in detail, okay, then understand their history, okay, know about their past, and from understanding the history, then understand what has happened over a period of time. Don't come to conclusion now. So he said, first go to any community, do the field work. Don't read books and conclude. Go to the field. Go to the field and interact with them, learn their language, collect the data, collect as much as data as possible. Don't generalize anything. Don't give any conclusion. First, collect as much as data possible. After collecting the entire data, arrange it systematically. Now you collected entire data, you got to know everything. Now arrange it systematically, then make the generalization. Till then, postpone the generalization. So he has contributed cultural relativism. Okay, so why he gave the concept of cultural relativism? Because he said that, see here what they are saying, everywhere culture is same, people are thinking in same way. So somebody is at highest stage, somebody is at lowest stage. So they thought that these Britain people, Victorians, were at the highest stage, they developed very quickly and they are at the highest stage, and in other countries or other continents they are attributing them to be at the lowest stage. They called Africans to be at the savagery stage. Okay, and the similarities, whatever they have seen, these people said that it is because of same way of thinking. But now Franz Boas says that you should not come to such conclusions. He says that any development is influenced by its history. Every culture develops based on its historical impacts or historical reasons. Now, if you look at India, India is influenced by various invasions in the past, be it colonial invasion or be it Mughal invasion. Invasions have happened in the past. Now, if you are judging India based on other countries and other countries' development, it is not going to be right way of equalizing them. Right? You can't equate them both because their past is different and the past of India is different. So every culture is influenced by its history. And if you notice same developments also, but it might be because of different reasons. I told you among the Kwakitul Red Indians, okay, we have discussed this, that Kwakitul Red Indians, they have masks. They developed masks to make the spirits fear. They do the mask dance. Why? To make the spirits go away. And in other place, you notice the invention of mask for different reason. Just because you notice mask in both places, telling that they are at the same stage or they are thinking in same way is wrong. So from here, Franz Boas said that don't be ethnocentric. That ethno means group. Don't be group centric. Don't judge others from group values or your own values. Try to look at them from their own perspective. Look at their culture. Try to understand their culture from their own values. So don't judge. So every culture is different. So there should be cultural relativism, not ethnocentrism. Okay. So every culture is influenced by its history. So in order to understand that particular culture, you should not come to any conclusion from your values. Try to know their values, know the reason, then try to understand and then come to conclusion. Again, he has also got the flaws because he said collect as much as data possible. But how much data can you collect? How much data can you collect? How much data can you handle? I told you, you can't handle complete data of single sand grain. Then how can you handle the data of a culture? It's not possible. And second thing, he did not tell what is sufficient. He said collect sufficient amount of data. He did not tell what is sufficient. How much data is sufficient? And one more problem here is that he said don't make any conclusions in the beginning. First collect everything, then arrange systematically, then give conclusion. Okay. But this is the biggest flaw. because Einstein, what did he say? He said that there would have been no concept in the science if this approach is used. Whatever the Franz Boas approach is there, that is called as inductive approach, induction method. Induction method means first you will gather everything, all the facts, and from there you try to give some conclusion. That is induction. Then what generally is followed? Deductive method. Deductive method means first you will make a hypothesis, then you will try to prove it. So in the science it is completely deductive, because theory of relativity has been given by Einstein long back. He hypothesized it, but now it is being proven, right? So that is the difference. So these are the three theories which we have done. Don't write anything now. Try to completely focus on what is being discussed. Okay. I'm going to explain the concept only today with respect to functionalism and structural functionalism. You have to be very, very, very clear with respect to concept. You will be noticing, you might have seen GS paper 1, right? This paper was very much advantageous to anthropology options too. 110 marks can be directly answered with anthropology knowledge in GS1 out of 250. That's why don't put too much of energies on society, tribal part, okay? Beat the globalization aspects also. So whatever the syllabus that is overlapping with the anthro optional, try to skip it for now, because you're going to invest good amount of time and you're going to learn much better way than what you learn in general studies. So there is a direct overlap of 110 marks. That's not a small number. And people generally have trouble in GS1 only. GS2 everybody will study. That is simple. GS4 it's must and should. So that also is done. GS3 it's a running train. So every development that happens you have to keep up. Right. So you'll have budget, economic survey, and all the developments that are happening. But one thing is very clear. Even this time, it is more of a specific studies than general studies this year, because GS2 it went far beyond political science students. Even political science students felt the questions to be difficult in GS2. So the thing is that you have to be clear with what you are reading. So the conceptual understanding is the utmost important thing. And this year, anybody who went with some templates, ready-made format, right? I'll study this way, I'll prepare certain templates. Definitely they'll be seeing the drop in the scores, because it is complete conceptual question that is being asked. Their template doesn't work. You have to explain the concept. So don't compromise on your concept part, be it general studies or your optional. Whatever you are reading, definitely template is the last mile. But before reaching the template phase, you should have this understanding. But now what students are doing is directly jumping into the template mode and PYQ format, learning PYQ answers. So that is going to be counterproductive. So be cautious with concepts. Okay. So now if you look at functionalism, so functionalism is a school of thought which was present in sociology, and from sociology, Emile Durkheim is the person who talked about the functionalism, and from there Malinowski got influenced. Okay, so Emile Durkheim equated organism with the society. Emile Durkheim equated organism with the society. What did he say? That in the organism, you notice parts. You notice body parts, right? You have eyes, nose, you have heart, lungs, kidney, liver, etc. And these parts, they are interrelated. They are connected to one another. These parts are interrelated and they are interdependent. Interrelated and interdependent. Can other parts of the body function without heart? They are interdependent, right? Can any part of the body function without oxygen? That means hemoglobin, in absence of hemoglobin, can it function? No. So they are all interdependent. So there are parts, these parts are related to one another. They are interrelated and interdependent. Any disturbance in one part will disturb the functioning of the other. So here every part is doing some activity. Every part is doing some activity, which is called as function. In the similar way, you notice that in the society also you have parts, and these parts are interrelated and interdependent. Any disturbance in one will lead to the disturbance in the other. Okay, any disturbance in one part will lead to the disturbance in the other part. All right. What are the parts here? Here the parts are individual and the institutions. Take economic institution, take the political institution. So all these are related to one another. Individuals are related to one another. If you disturb one relation or one part, it will disturb the other. They are all interrelated and interdependent. This is what they have talked. So first, the basic premise here is that just whatever the comparison that has been done by Emile Durkheim has been borrowed by these two people, Malinowski and the Radcliffe Brown, and they try to explain the concept of functionalism. Okay, and first they try to see it as a system. Okay, so you see we have organ system, right? So the system has parts in it and the parts are related. You take solar system. If you remove one planet from there, what happens? In the solar system, how is the solar system functioning? You have the planets. All the planets are functioning on the basis of gravity and gravitational forces between each other, and resultant of the forces is the direction of movement. If you replace one, the entire path will change, right? So in a system, all the parts are related, be it organic system, be it solar system, you take any system. So they have considered society like a system. There are parts, the parts are related, they are dependent between each other, they are interrelated, interdependent. If one part is disturbed, it will disturb the other part. So what is it disturbing? It is disturbing the functioning of the part, right? So here they consider parts to be individuals and institutions. This is their assumption, premises. And now they are saying that, see, previously classical evolutionists, what did they do? They explained that culture evolved from one stage to other stage everywhere in a similar way. And if you are telling that it evolved from one stage to other stage, that means you should know its history. If you should know its history, you should have historical evidence. But what you are looking at some books written by someone. It is completely unreliable source, because if I write things now about what is currently happening, is it an acceptable thing at later point of time? Because I am only aware of certain things. Rest all is my opinions that I am going to write. It is not the fact. Whatever I understand, I will be writing in the book. But it is not what is the reality, right? So now when you don't have reliable source of history, what is the point of coming out and fighting on the outcome? So if you don't even know what is happening, why are you trying to explain what has happened? Better give up explaining it in the chronological sequence. So what they say is that stop studying that, or stop studying the past and focus on the present. So the approaches that were taken by the past people to understand their history, okay, so even Franz Boas want to understand the culture by understanding its history. Even Franz Boas want to understand it. Now here, these people say that, see, we don't have reliable things. If you have the scientific evidences, well and good, but we can't get it and we can't judge it now. So that's why don't take the diachronic approach. Diachronic approach means explaining it chronologically. What they say is that take the synchronic approach. That means what is present here and now and how is it helping. Try to understand. So take the synchronic approach. So you notice the change in the methodology, that there is a shift from diachronic approach to synchronic approach. And at the same time, methodology, here the field work is emphasized very much. And one more important thing that develops here is the participant observation method. The participant observation method. So today we are going to understand both the theories, and tomorrow we'll look at the facts of this theory. Okay, what are the individual facts? But now you should be able to write about the theory in a simple fashion. You should write in your own words. It should not be like you have to sit and you should rote learn it. You should be able to put it in your own words. What they are saying that don't take the diachronic approach, take the synchronic approach, study what is there here currently, and see what it is serving, what purpose it is serving today. And then, with respect to assumptions, they said that society or the culture is like a system, like an organic system, organ system which has parts and their relation. In similarly in the culture also, in the society also, you have parts and their interrelation. Any disturbance, see, every part will do some activity that is called as function. Okay, so according to them, every part will do some activity that is called as function, and if you disturb one, that will disturb the functioning of the other. This is their assumption. So you understood what is their methodology, what is their assumption. So participant observation method, what is it? Participant observation. Now, this is discovery by chance. 1914 to 1918, that was the World War period. World War One was happening. Malinowski was a Poland person. Okay, so he was trained in Britain in anthropology, but he belongs to Poland. He was sent to Australia for some research work. War started, and now Poland is an enemy country to Britain, so he has become enemy alien. Right, right. He is an enemy alien. Now he should be detained. All the enemies aliens are detained, right, during the war, because he had some influence and some people of the colonial administrators knew him, that he is a well-read person and he had some influence of those of British universities. He was allowed to move here and there, but within a restricted area. So he was able to move in and around Australia and the Polynesian Islands, the Melanesian Islands. So Polynesia and Melanesia, I guess near to Papua New Guinea, you have certain islands, Melanesian islands. So he was moving in those areas. So there he got stuck. So he was limited in movement. So there, because of no opportunity, he has to stay there for long period of time. So he got stuck in an island known as Tobriand Island. Tobriand. Okay. So in this island, he got stuck. He stayed there. He started living with them because he started understanding. First, initially, he started taking information from a distance. That like, he started noting things. But in one of the book, I'll be explaining in which book he realized that he has written a book initially, but that did not give a real picture. So from there, he concluded that taking information from a distance is not the right thing. So you should become part of the society. So he started learning their language, becoming part of their culture. Who will accept in the beginning? Nobody will accept. You should slowly start mingling with them, start learning their language, interact with them, do same thing what they are doing. Though it is difficult, you should become a part of the member of that particular culture. So when you become member of that particular culture, suppose some outsider came to us. If he asks everything, will you give all the information? No. You won't tell why you are practicing a particular thing. You won't give all the information. Now suppose he starts mingling with you slowly, he starts practicing every festival you do, and he becomes part of your society. He has been for 1 year. Then you will start revealing things slowly, why you are doing this, why you are doing a particular activity, what is the point, what is the reason behind it. Okay. So this you will start noticing. Now in the similar way, Malinowski also says that so you should become part of their culture, then only you'll get to know the real information. You should know everything that is being done over there. How will you get to know? You should stay there, understand their language, mingle with them, then you'll get to. Then you bring out the information. That is known as participant observation. So here Franz Boas also previously did the field work, but he did not stay with them, he did not live with them, he did not practice the cultural activities along with them. He just understood their language and just took the information and went. That he went to the field to know it, but he did not be with them. So the new method was introduced by Malinowski, that is participant observation method. So we have understood the assumptions from where they are influenced. So Emile Durkheim has influenced them, and what they are saying that try to understand what is present here and what function is it meeting. And they're considering it as a system with parts which are related, any disturbance leading to the disturbance in the other. So first coming to the Malinowski. Malinowski considers culture as an integrated whole. Culture as an integrated whole. That means there are parts in the culture, these are related and they all combine to form a holistic culture. So their part, all these together is known as culture, right? The parts, institutions, they are not isolated, they are dependent. Okay. So which he sees as a whole. That means you can't see it in isolation terms. You can't understand a culture if you see in isolated terms. You have to see it related to all other things. Okay. So he is considering culture as an integrated entity, every part should be seen from a holistic perspective. Then only you'll understand. And he says that culture is a need fulfilling mechanism. Culture is a need fulfilling mechanism. Can you tell me what is synchronic studies and what is diachronic studies? Okay. This we have learned in the past as well. Okay. So it's not just being present physically, mentally also you should be present here. Okay. So thinking somewhere, and if you think that you are attending the classes and you are doing it, then it gets difficult at a later point of time. So it is only going to make your task little tough, though you can do it, but it's going to take your time, consume your time for no reason. If things can be done in 1 hour, why to do it in 10, 20 hours again? If you can finish it in 1 hour. So be present and try to focus, because now I did not get into the topic itself. I'm just trying to give you an understanding. At the understanding level, if you're failing, that means theory is going to get difficult for you. Then you'll start focusing on the facts. Facts are not interesting, they're boring, your brain will never observe, and now you'll try to memorize. Whatever you don't like, if you're trying to do, you won't succeed in the task. So focus carefully. So Malinowski, what is he trying to say that they saw it as a system, so he is looking at it as an integrated whole. So it is an integrated entity. So whenever you are looking at something, don't try to see it in isolation. Try to see it in relation with the other parts. Now, she says that culture is there to meet the needs of an individual. Culture is a need fulfilling mechanism. So he says that we are biological beings. We are biological beings. Just by taking birth as a biological organism, you have certain needs. What are the needs? Food, food, shelter, clothing, reproduction, right? So these are all the basic needs, biological needs. Do humans only have this? Every organism has these needs, right? Now, how do every organism fulfill their needs? So you notice that most of the living beings tend to meet their needs with the help of nature. But if you notice human beings, they meet their needs with respect to culture, using culture, right? So for hunger, you have food; for shelter, you have house, okay, clothing, and other needs. For reproduction, you have marriage, okay. So these are all the various developments that have come up to meet the needs of the individual. So according to him, he says that other beings meet their needs using nature, but human beings meet their needs using culture. So he says that there are needs, different kinds of needs. First is primary needs, biological needs. Then you have derived needs. Then you have integrated needs. What are derived needs? Now, initially you want food. You met it. Now you have children. You want to transmit this way of making food to the next generation. So you need education to the children. Education doesn't mean only what we are learning in the schools, right? So now you have to tell the next generation, transmit the knowledge to the next generation. So you need further institutions. These are known as derived needs. Derived needs, are they present in other beings? When they are meeting through the nature, there is no need of transmission. When they are meeting the needs through the nature itself, there is no need of transmission, because mother won't fly and show how to fly to the babies, right? Baby learns automatically. But here, the child is trained to walk. And in the culture chapter, when we discuss, then we'll be looking at that if you lock a baby in a room for consistently for many years, and if they grow up there only, or if somebody is lost in the forest, there are some cases how they behave after that. They just behave like a beast. They walk on four hands. They walk using four limbs. If you are not trained, you will walk using four limbs. Though you have the ability to walk on two limbs. So in humans, you have that necessity to be trained. But in other animals, they learn through the nature. They meet their needs through the nature. Then you have integrated needs. So integrated needs deals with the needs of or also known as psychological needs like religion and magic, where to meet your mental needs, that is the last thing. So he has divided the needs into a pyramid, and he has said that there are basic needs or biological needs, primary needs, then you have derived needs, then you have integrated needs. So this he has said, and he has divided the needs like this, and he said that to meet every need, culture as a mechanism. Okay, so there is either institution within the culture or some or other mechanism to meet these needs. So basically, this is the needs theory of Malinowski, which says that culture is present to meet the needs of an individual. There are different types of needs, and each type of need is met through particular aspect of culture or particular institution of culture. So integrated needs, psychological needs are met through magic and religion, and these derived needs are met through various institutions, political organization, economic organization, which help in the transmission of things. Biological needs are met through basic living conditions such as food and shelter, so clothing. These are met through this. So within the culture, you have parts, institutions, you have parts. These parts are individuals and institutions. And what are these doing? What are these institutions or individuals doing? So every part is doing some function to meet the needs of an individual. So there are parts. When we see Malinowski's point of view, culture consists of traits, cultural traits. So what is a trait? Any aspect of culture, cultural trait means any aspect of culture which has got meaning, and if you break it further, it loses its meaning. This is a pen, it's a material. If you keep on breaking it further, you will have some name, and beyond that, if you break it, you don't have any meaning. So the smallest unit of culture which has got meaning is called as cultural trait. Smallest unit of culture, just like atom you talk, right? So again, you have further divisions within the atom also, but the smallest unit which has got meaning is cultural trait. Okay, so here you have cultural traits, you have institutions. Why are these present? Why are these present? To meet the needs of an individual. Anything that is there, that is there to meet the needs of an individual, according to Malinowski. If something is there, it is there to meet the need of an individual. If something is, see, what he says is that he makes a circular argument. If you ask him, why is it present? He says that it is there to function. Why is it functioning? Because it has to exist. Why is it existing? Because it should function. Why is it functioning? Because it has to exist. So this would be the criticism also at the end. He is making a circular argument rather than explaining. But this is what his understanding is. So there are cultural traits, there are institutions. These are there to meet the needs of an individual. This is the needs theory of Malinowski. But you have the flaws in this explanation. Okay. So not everything is there to meet the needs. Not everything is there to function and lead to harm. You see, what is he saying? It is going to help to meet some need. You have religion. Religion need not always help you function. It can disturb also. Communal forces you notice today. So religion is, it's not only meeting the needs, it is doing other functions also. So anyways, needs theory has got many flaws, many limitations. It is not accepted. It is not considered in the modern anthropology. Okay, because that is considered as a flawed concept to explain the need theory. But we need to know what Malinowski has explained. Did you understand needs theory? Psychological needs, really, you have some problem mentally, then you will go and practice some meditation. So you have religion and magic to meet your psychological needs, integrated needs. From primary, you get derived needs. From derived combination of this, you will get integrated needs. When no other institution is fulfilling, then you need other new institution to fulfill it, right? Got it? I hope you are clear. Sir, when traits stop to satisfy the needs, will they disappear? That's a good question to be asked to Malinowski, right? So this is what the inquisitive study, that you want to know things. Definitely, whatever question has come to your mind, that's right. And even many people asked Malinowski and he could not answer. That is a criticism too. Don't make conclusions. Can have means try to show some proof. Can can't be the answer. Show, you should talk with some evidence. Okay, when you're saying, when you're countering something, so see, the question here is that other than human beings, that there can be culture in other organisms. Now when you show it, you should show it with some evidence. Here there is a debate in socio-cultural aspect. In 2.1, is culture unique to human beings? That is a separate question itself. Is culture unique to human beings, or is it present in other beings also? There, there is no complete evidence to show that there is culture in other beings. Only some examples they have given, but you can't outrightly prove it. That's what, examples are not the conclusions. So suppose if you find an exception, You cannot say that is the culture. See, I'll tell you examples by myself. You notice some of the primates practicing things like, like humans, like even mothers train how to dig the ants using the twigs, so sticks, how to dig the ants in primates. Okay, in some of the primates they train, but it is not transmitted to the next generation automatically. So like, it is not compulsion that the next generation is trained. What is culture? There you should have a perfect definition. Okay, and that definition should fit into that particular society of organism, any beings you're talking about. So these are only some exceptions, because see, what is culture? Culture is a complex whole of knowledge, beliefs, values, customs, morals, capabilities, or any habits that you acquire by being a member of a society. So there are they acquiring, or all of them acquiring, and they are trying to learn and they are trying to train into the next generation, that we did not notice. It if it ends with the one generation itself, then we can't call it a culture, because things have to transmit. So basically, some examples we have noticed, and even like, some orangutans and chimpanzees, they have learned the gaming also, video games. They could play video games. They were trained. But next generation, are they able to play? No. Are they able to train to the next generation? No. So there are certain conditions because of which we said that the culture is unique to human beings. However, maybe in the coming days it might change, the opinion might change, the view might change. But for now, whatever has been understood is that culture is mostly unique to humans. Okay, if you define it broadly. If you change the definition, then culture is present in all the arguments. So based on the definition that you are accepting, what is culture, this view will get changed. So that's why it is not easy to conclude. You cannot conclude. Can, may, should not be written in the exam. Maybe, can be, nobody will accept. Because when you are writing without substantiation, then everything can be an assumption in the answer. Right? So that's why when you're writing, you have to use substantiation. So now what should be your substantiation there? What you have learned in primates, what Jane Goodall has said, those things you can try to highlight. So to write it as a criticism. But just saying can be won't be accepted. Because Jane Goodall is a primatologist and anthropologist, there that you can write. Okay, this you will be learning in physical anthropology and 2.1 culture. But okay. First of all, that's not an important thing to discuss at all. Focus on what Malinowski said. Where did we stop? Okay. So needs theory, right? So there are different types of needs, and these needs are met through the culture, and culture is a need fulfilling mechanism. So they believe that everything is there to do a function, and it is to maintain harmony, cooperation in the society. But that's not true. Okay, so we are going to see all the limitations, all the works in detail, but the theory of Malinowski has to be understood. The theory, if you are clear, tomorrow it's hardly 10 minutes task to finish it. And one more thing, what Malinowski in his study has observed, he got stuck over there in Tobriand. So you notice the islands are in the circular shape over there. They are in the circular form. These people, what they do, see, they know how to make canoes. Canoes means ships. These people used to make ships, and they used to go to other islands. They used to go to different islands. And like this, they used to travel. in clockwise, and they used to travel in anti-clockwise also. And when they were looking at this travel, why they were traveling from island to island, which is miles away. It is not so close, thousands of miles away. You have to take very uh, sturdy sea, that like sea is not comfortable also. It's not so easy to travel. They're risking to travel a long distance. Why they are traveling? When they were looked at, they are traveling for some reason to exchange something known as red necklace, which is made of shells. So in clockwise, they are exchanging red necklaces made of shells known as solua. They are moving so much of distance to exchange these shells made of necklaces made up of shells. Shells you find everywhere, right? And in the anti-clockwise, this is clockwise direction. In the anti-clockwise, they are exchanging armbands, white armbands known as Mali. What you people will do if you are asked to travel 1,000 miles to exchange this, and you exchange and you take something in return. So now you are giving red necklace and they'll give you armband. So the necklace will travel in the clockwise direction and the armband will travel in the anti-clockwise direction. Will you people go? So you people are denying that you won't go. That you are saying that you will not. What is asked, you answer to the question. Will you go or you won't? Basically, you won't be. Similarly, the Westerners who went there, they also called it as a wasteful practice. What is the point of traveling so much in for exchanging these shells? These people are wasting the resource unnecessarily or their energy unnecessarily. But Malinowski said that for you people, it might sound so, but not everything is judged from the profit point of view. Okay, so there is an economy which is related to all other aspects. See, when we are going to learn unit 3, there we are going to learn two perspectives. One is formalist and other is substantivist. What is formalist? So you learn the classical economics that you learn as economy, right? So there you notice that in the economy, homo economicus. What is homo economicus? Man is a rational being. He makes choices and the choices are wise to make the maximum profit. See, you have unlimited wants. You can not meet all the wants. You have limited resources. And so you will prioritize things, right? And from there you will get the maximum benefit. You will try to take the maximum benefit always. That is man being homo economicus. This is part of economy, right? So all the principles of economy say this. But when it comes to indigenous societies, what Malinowski says that you cannot apply formalist economic principles to these people to study. Here, you don't have economy isolated. Here economy is interrelated. So you notice economy being connected with all other things. Economy is part of the entire cultural system. Economy connected with religion, political organization. You have family, kinship, and other socio-cultural activities. So they are all interrelated. So here, if you notice, when these people are going on a voyage, first they'll all come together to build the canoes. Okay, they'll build the canoes. They come together to build the canoes, and next they perform rituals before leaving. They perform rituals, be it magic or religion. Okay, see, when do you? They don't practice magic every time. They have small lagoons also. When they go for fishing, they have small lagoons. They know how much depth is it. So when they go there, they don't practice magic or religious practices because they know they'll come back safely. So when there is uncertainty, now they are going long distance, they are getting into the sea, they don't know whether they'll come back or not. So in that case, they practice it. So now this economic activity is linked with religious activity. And there is a chief who will head this voyage. Chief is heading the voyage. And only men will participate in that voyage. So there is political aspect linked to it. And during this construction, all the people will come together and they'll conduct the feast. So everybody will be having the food. So here you notice that things are interrelated. You cannot separate them. And now they are exchanging things. That means they are in reciprocal relationship. So when they are exchanging things, it is the reciprocity that is being done. So reciprocity always establishes an obligation on the other person. Second thing, this has been understood by various people. So there was a question in UPSC that anthropological perspectives of Kula. Anthropological perspectives of Kula. So what are you going to write? Whatever we are learning is one perspective of Malinowski. So there are other people who gave their perceptions. So differently, and they explained it differently. But you need to understand here, why are these people going and exchanging? Because of societal value, social value. Not everything is judged on the basis of profit. Okay, here they are establishing connections with the others. So this will help them in the times of crisis. Okay, and whenever suppose one island is under danger, there is other island which on which they can rely upon, right? And maybe at one place the climate is not supportive to go grow a particular type of crops, right? So he has studied this Kularing. In Kularing, what happens now? It is the circular islands that these people take on a voyage, headed by a chief. They perform rituals before going. Men are present in the voyage, and what they do, they go and exchange this red necklace and take the white arm. So red necklace travels in the clockwise, white armband travels in the anti-clockwise direction. This is what happens in the Kularing. Okay, so tomorrow I'll be telling you the different perspectives, but what Malinowski has observed. So from his point of view, he says that you should not apply that formalist principles in understanding the indigenous economies. So that's where the new school, see, when we study economic organization, there is a debate between two schools, formalist and substantivist. So the birth of the new school happened with Malinowski. So that is one of the important aspects. The birth of substantivists. Substantivists are those people who says that the economic principles of the modern classical economics cannot be applied to indigenous economic studies to study them. Okay, so this is the one of the contributions. Kularing, and you can't. because first of all you need to understand communist economy. Now that itself will take 1 hour to explain. Communist economy is not an easy concept. Yeah. So in community, is it happening on that? In communalism, is it happening? Communism. No. Basically, communism concept itself is difficult. So that's a very complex thing to just relate communism and the substantivist view. Substantivist view just says that you can't apply those principles here. These system these systems are completely different. The economy is integrated and it is part of the socio-cultural matrix in these societies. So you have to understand it in a different way altogether. Okay. So the communism again equalizes things and it talks things about in a different manner. So where the people own everything. So here you notice the chief. So there is a division, political organization present, and somebody here you have the myths. Okay, like I'll tell you, you have the myths. Now what these myths are talking about? These myths give the authentication to the chiefs continuing as a chief. Okay, these myths will say that so and so people can continue as chief. So myths are present to meet the needs of these chiefs. So there is stratification present there also. So it's not like the societies that we are looking at now. It's completely different. So let's not mix the concepts or else you will get confused. So just try to study it as it is that Tobriand Islands, they practice this ring is known as Kula ring, where Kula ring is a ceremonial activity where people take on a voyage to exchange the red necklaces and collect the armbands, right, in clockwise and anti-clockwise. This is what you have to understand. Okay, so further details regarding its criticism and regarding the different anthropological perspectives we are going to look at in the tomorrow's class. But the contribution and the concept, I hope you are clear. So he says that you can't apply those principles here because here economy is embedded in the socio-cultural matrix. Next, he talks about analysis of social institutions. He says that if you want to decide if something is a social institution, okay, he says that every institution will have a charter. What is charter? You might have heard of citizen charter. So it is a set of objectives that they want to achieve through. Okay, so it has got charter, it has got norms. Norms means that certain rules that has to be followed. Then it has got personal, there is involvement of people. Then you have got material apparatus. So in order to execute, you need the material aspects. And using these material aspects, activities are performed. And it results in the function. So I'll explain you with an example, you will understand it clearly. Marriage, is it a social institution? We should not conclude, we should check. Marriage has got an objective, right? Fulfilling biological, social, economic needs, right? What is marriage? What is marriage? Marriage is an agreement between two people to commit themselves to stay throughout the life together and take care of their children. Right? It is a commitment. What is family? So there is a confusion in understanding between marriage and family. People really don't understand what is the difference. Can there be marriage without family, family without marriage? How? So think on it. We'll take up next time this question because it is an important question that we need and it's part of the syllabus only. It's not out of the box. Okay. So marriage has got some objective, aim, chart, aim and objective is there. Norms. So in a marriage, you have certain norms. While performing marriage, certain rules are there. Be it any kind of marriage, there are certain norms. So in Hinduism, you have certain norms. In Islam, you have certain norms. Because while the nikah is being performed, right, the elderly people go there and take the views of both the people, groom and the bride. And in Hinduism, they'll ask both the bride and the groom, and during the performing of the rites, right? So during the marriage rites, while the priest sits over there, he asks everything. Are you agreeing to do this? Right? We only feel it that they're reading something out, but that is they are taking the permission of the people to perform this activity. So they are asking the bride and the groom whether they are agreeing to commit themselves each other till the lifetime. So there are certain norms and personal. The people are involved, right? So you have the priest, you have the bride, you have the groom, both the relatives of the bride and the groom, and material apparatus is present. So some or the other material apparatus is used. So in Hinduism, you use the thali, Mangal Sutra for tying the knot, and in others they use different material. So some material apparatus is involved, and using these material apparatus, some activity is done, which is resulting in some function. Every activity performed is resulting in some function. That means, from the Malinowski's understanding, marriage is a social institution. So he analyzed the needs. So he gave the needs theory. He said the societal social institutions has to be analyzed. So he explained social institutions. Why are they there? They are there to. Why are social institutions existing according to Malinowski? To fulfill the needs of an individual. Anything that is there to meet the needs of an individual according to Malinowski. You're clear? Social institution has been analyzed. So these are the contributions with respect to Malinowski. Malinowski says that don't be ethnocentric, savagery, barbarism, this classification. How can you talk about the past? You cannot discriminate indigenous people based on your assumptions. But in his own diary, when he went there, he only used those words, and he thought his diary will not come into public, private diary. So after his death, the widowed wife has given it to the publication, and the publication has published, which completely took a toll on his entire fame that he gained throughout his life. So in that book, he clearly mentioned these savage people, so which he considered as derogatory word, which he mentioned in his formal books. He is countering that in his personal private diary. and you'll also be noticing the gender and sexist behavior in the private diary. So where he was attracted to the woman of Tobriand Islands, he could not restrict himself. So here we need to understand the thing that he thought of teaching the people certain practices to be followed. Don't laugh and make me laugh. Okay, fine. So he thought of preaching certain things to the people, and when he thought of preaching, he talked in a different way, but in reality he was different altogether as a person. So there was a book that is published. The name of the book is The Diary in the Strict Sense. A diary in the strict sense. This was a Routledge publication, which I am going to tell you because there was a question. It's very important. It's, nothing fun over it. So it's very important from exam point of view that there was a question: criticism or the critical analysis of the fieldwork method of fieldwork of Malinowski and the Margaret Mead. So Margaret Mead you learn in culture personality school, but what went wrong with the field, because he introduced the fieldwork method, he introduced the participant observation which was used by all other disciplines, but he faced some problems in the process. So what are the flaws with respect to his methodological work? So what were the limitations? When you critically examine, you have to write what are the advantages of the field work, what good things it is providing. But at the same time, you should also mention in the process there are some limitations and flaws. So that's what you have to write. So we are going to learn all the negative aspects of the field work and the limitations in the process. But I hope you are clear with Malinowski. This is what the Malinowski's functionalism talks about. Assumption or equating organism with the society, parts, interrelation, interdependence, any disturbance to the others. Okay, methodology, he uses synchronic method, okay, moving away from the diachronic, and the techniques that are used, participant observation in the field work, and then the contributions you see Kula needs theory, and the societal social institution analysis, and limitations we'll be discussing in detail. Okay, this is Malinowski. Now coming to Radcliffe Brown. Radcliffe Brown and Malinowski differ majorly in terms of understanding the function. Now Malinowski is saying that you have this pen, this is meeting the needs of an individual, and I know what need it's meeting. Now in Radcliffe Brown, his understanding is altogether different. He says that anything that is being done, it is there to maintain the social structure. So first of all, he understood the same premises. System, organic system is equal to social system. There are parts. Here are also parts. Here, according to him, see, according to Malinowski, their parts are cultural traits and institutions. Here, according to Radcliffe Brown, parts are individuals and institutions. So he considers, okay, so you have a system. He sees society as a system. So this system he calls it as social system. Within the social system, he has seen three parts. One is social structure, okay, enculturation, environmental adaptation. Now, social system, he sees society as a system known as social system. Within that, you have these parts. Social system is like an organic system which has parts, relation, dependence, any any change leading to the change in the other. Now, social structure. See, this is very, very, very important because entire theory runs on this. So try to understand. It is very simple also. What is social structure? Social structure is continuous arrangement of parts. Continuous arrangement of parts which are interrelated. Okay, so the parts are interrelated, and this interrelationship gives rise to a particular behavior. See, continuous arrangement of parts, the parts are related, and this relationship, when they are related, you will see some behavior, and this behavior is controlled by social institution. According to him, there are parts, these parts are continuously arranged, and when they are continuously arranged, they are related, there is some relationship. So that relationship will give rise to behavior. The behavior has to be controlled, and this is controlled by social institutions. What are social institutions? They are nothing but norms and rules. Social institution means it's not a building where there is some institution. It's nothing but the norms and rules. So now, according to him, the parts are individuals. Suppose you take a family, you notice the people are related, they are continuously arranged, and when these people are related, there is some behavior. How grandparent and like children and son behaves, grandchildren and grandparents behave. So there is some behavior, and who will control this behavior? In what way you should behave? The norms, the norms and rules of what? Family. The norms and rules of family are there. So family as an institution is controlling that behavior. Are you understanding what is social structure? Social structure is nothing but continuous arrangement of parts. These parts are related to each other, these parts are interrelated, which give rise to behavior. This behavior is controlled by social institutions. You should not rote learn, you should understand and write it in your own words. Because how long can you remember something which you rote learn? But if you understand it is continuous arrangement, this relationship gives rise to some behavior because they are interrelated, and this behavior controlled by social institutions. That is social structure. And what is enculturation? Enculturation is nothing but transmission of knowledge from one generation to another generation. That is enculturation. So parents socializing the children, that teaching everything, that is enculturation. You are transmitting the knowledge to the next generation. And then you have environmental adaptation. Environmental adaptation means there is a particular environment and you are trying to adjust yourself in that particular environment. That is known as environmental adaptation. So social system, according to him, consists of these three things, that is social structure, enculturation and environmental adaptation. And he says that every function that is happening, every social institution that is there, every function that is happening, why is it happening? It is happening to maintain the social structure. What is his belief is that everything, every function and every social institution that is performing the function, why is it doing? To maintain the social structure. If what is social structure? Relation. If the relations are good, the social structure is good. So simply social structure means improving the relationships between people. So if relations are improving, the social structure is good. If social structure is good, society is in harmony and it will continue. So according to him, you should understand the functions of the society, not the individual. There the needs of the individual are met. According to Malinowski, you are trying to understand the needs of an individual. There, the needs of an individual are met. Here, he is looking at the functions of the society. So, how the society is being continued. Now, what he'll do? He'll observe different things. He goes on doing some studies. He studied Andaman Islanders. He went there. Their mama and his son-in-law are joking with each other. Then, and in Batonga, okay. So here the question is the collective behavior or individual behavior. It is collective behavior only because it is taking care of entire behavior, right? So here it is taking care of the entire society. Okay. So I hope you are clear. So in Andaman Islanders, and he has studied African Batonga tribes also, indigenous community. There also this joking relationship was there. Now why this? See, joking relationship. If Malinowski is asked to look at, he'll say that it is meeting some needs between them. But here, what do you call? Radcliffe Brown looked at it altogether differently. Now their marriage is happening between, they follow lineage exogamy. Lineage means you know, right? So you have a particular surname, there is a surname different from others. So you have a different lineages, right? So there is a lineage. Now they marry people from different lineage. That means the two lineages are different. There is competition between them. So generally, one is seen as superior, other is seen as inferior. Now they are marrying from different lineages. Now the girl who is coming to the different lineage has to undergo all the changes. You know, since the two lineages are different, there is superiority and inferiority between them. The relationships get disturbed. That means if relationships are disturbed, what is getting disturbed? Social structure. Now, from the mother side, if mother's brother is maintained good relations with the son, okay. So now mama and son-in-law, mother's brother and the son, if they are maintaining mother's son and mother's brother, if they are maintaining good relations, that means two different lineages are maintaining the relationship. Tomorrow further relations are going to get strengthened. So now what is it helping? It is helping in strengthening the social structure, which helps in the continuity of the social structure and the society altogether. He studies Andaman Islanders. He sees the weeping ceremony, people sitting and crying together. There is a weeping ceremony. Have you come across any in any of your systems or any cultural systems? Weeping ceremony. Is there any such ceremony? What is the name? Kudalikam. Why do they weep? Okay. Yeah, so there are such ceremonies that happen across various communities. So there is weeping ceremony among the Andaman Islanders. Okay. So now these Andaman Island people come together and they cry. So for various reasons, maybe when two friends are separated, or like maybe they meet again after a long time, or for various purposes, these weeping ceremonies are conducted. Then why is this custom practiced? See, for them they have different reasons. But Malinowski, sorry, Radcliffe Brown says that when people weep, what happens when they cry together? They establish a connection. When they establish a connection, there is good relationship between. When there is good relationship, The behavior is good. When the behavior is good, the social structure is good. If the social structure is good, the society will continue further. Right? So he is trying to look at everything from the social structure point of view and continuity of the social structure and the society. If social structure is continuing, that means society is continuing. So his way of looking at things is different. So he is also trying to talk about function, but he is trying to look at the function that society needs. So he is trying to meet the needs of the society, not the individual. He is trying to look at the function from the point of view of the society, not the individual. These are the major differences. So one thing you should clearly understand, the way of understanding of function between Malinowski and the Radcliffe Brown is that Malinowski talks about the intended function. You know that this is meeting this need and this is intended. But whereas Radcliffe Brown is talking about the function which is unintended. The people don't know about the social structure. They are not thinking about the society. They are crying for their own reason. But he is talking about the function that is being met which is unintended. Okay. The continuity of the social structure was not the intention of crying. So it is unintended. But he is explaining it. So this is the explanation of the social structure. So he says that every social institution has got parts. Okay, these parts are related, they are interrelated, interdependent. So every part has got certain role and status. What is role? What activity you have to perform? That is your role. And your status. My status is teacher. My role is to teach, complete the syllabus and help you score. So similarly, what is your role? Student. What is sorry, your status is student. What is your role? To score well, to study well, to practice well, right? And to clear the UPSC. So like this, every part has got its role and status, and it is performing its role, which means activity. So every part will perform its activity, that is called as function. And why are they functioning? To maintain the social structure, right? I hope you are clear with this explanation. No doubts, right? Any doubts you can ask. So because these things you have to understand first before venturing into their contributions, what they have talked. Okay. So in the book Structure and Function of the Primitive Society, he explains this regarding the social structure. So these all books and works we'll be studying in detail. But the concept is the most important thing. People don't even understand what is social structure. They start reading social system, social structure. There is general structure, there is actual structure. Okay, so tomorrow I'll be explaining. There is general structure, there is actual structure. So these all things you have to be clear. So now there is a new term known as social organization. Social system, you have understood. It is society which is seen as system, that is social system. Then you have social structure. Then you have social organization. Okay, social organization, what is it? Social organization is arrangement of activities. See, if you are aware about the cricket, at the highest stage you have BCCL, then you have board of directors, then you have the captain, then you have vice captain, then you have the players, right? This is the structure, arrangement of people, social structure. Then what is social organization? Arrangement of activities. So now you take the game plan. So who is going to bowl the first over, who is going to bowl the end overs, and who is going to bat as an opener. Okay, these all things are planned. So what activity is to be done, when it has to be done, and this arrangement of activities, who should be doing. So you have to understand social structure and organization here. Social organization is arrangement of the activities. Social structure is arrangement of people and parts. Right? This is a small difference between social organization and social structure. Social organization means who should be doing what job and how they should perform, when they should perform. So they are arranging the activities, because you have manager, you have the laborers, everybody has to do their activity. So when it should be done, how it should be done, this arrangement of activities is social organization. Social structure, you are clear, right? So it is arrangement of parts and their relation. Is it clear? So any doubts online, you can please ask. Come again. Who's, it is not so. It is not based on social organization, social structure is organized. After the structure forms, then the organization activity comes up. But anyways, you need to understand one thing, that these are all theories at the end. That means it is the opinion and the view of the Radcliffe Brown and the Malinowski. But we can't say whether they are right completely, whether they are wrong, because these are the questions which are unanswerable. The things are interlinked. They are not static. They are dynamic. They change with time. The explanations also change with time. So we can't conclude things, but we are just trying to understand what they are trying to say, what they are trying to explain. And now tomorrow we'll see the content and what questions are possible and how to present. So we'll be done with functionalism and structural functionalism by tomorrow. Okay. I hope you are clear. So that's it for today. Thank you.